Who am I? The thing that I enjoyed, I no longer did as a mother. Who were you before you became a mom? I didn't recognize myself. Imagine waking up one day and not being able to recognize the person looking back at you. I can literally remember waking up and looking at myself in the mirror and not recognizing myself. Like, who am I? Where was that person that I was before I had my children? I don't even know who she is. I don't know who this person is. And that was the scary part for me. I didn't recognize myself. And a lot of the times when you become a mom, that's what happened. You kind of lose your identity. No, not you kind of. You do. At least for me. And this is the stuff people don't talk about, and it's not a popular conversation, but who were you before you became a mom? And I had to sit down and ask myself, who was that person? And I realized I had to go back to who I was before having kids. And what did I like to do? What did I like to eat? Did I like going places? Did I like sitting at home? What movies do I like watching? I had to sit down with myself and try to find that person that I just forgot about and initially lost in motherhood. I literally had to sit down with myself and be like, wait a minute. For one, I don't recognize myself. For two, I don't even know who I am right now. Three, this seems very, very weird. Why can't I recognize myself? Who am I? And I'm not just a mom. Like, obviously, I was somebody else, but not somebody else, but I was a different person before I became a mother. And I did not recognize myself. I know a lot of moms, we get so wrapped up in motherhood. And not, I'm not saying this is for every mom, but I know a lot of us, we get wrapped up in motherhood and we forget to do the things that we love to do. And also remember that outside of becoming a mother, we were a different person, or never forget who she was. I had to start from the beginning and say, where was I these last, 4 or 5 years? I had neglected things that I like to do. Everything was about my kids. And I'm not saying that I don't love my kids. I love my kids. But I also want time for me. I don't feel like I'm being selfish if I want that time to myself. Or I just want to go to a movie by myself, or I just want to eat a meal by myself. I forgot who I was. I let my body go. I didn't care, about my body. It was just kids, 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 24/7. It was work and kids, work and kids. And even up until now, it's still that slightly, because now I'm starting to identify those things that I liked as the person I was before I had kids. I literally had to sit down and write out and literally think about the things like, oh, wait, I did like dancing before I had kids. I did like exercising before I had kids. I did like going out with my friends, not just on the weekends, but like during the week. And I know with kids and your routine as a mom, that sometimes it's kind of hard, but I realized that the thing that I enjoyed, I no longer did as a mother. And that did not sit right with me. I literally lost the identity of the person I was before I had kids. I didn't even know who that person was. And I had to sit down and try to find her. Although she may not look like the younger person that she was, of course you get older, but I still had to find her because I could not sit another day and just be a mom. I'm more than a mom. We're more than moms. I remember becoming a mom or in the process of becoming a mom. And I was so excited and I knew I wanted kids. And I remember saying as a young girl, oh, I'm going to have a lot of kids. I'm going to have like 10 to 12 kids. That was crazy. That was crazy because no. um, but I remember the moment I realized I wanted to have children. I also remember not even thinking like, okay, after I had kids, then what? I didn't think about how that was going to look. I just knew I wanted to have kids and that was it. But I realized going through the process of trying to have kids, it wasn't easy for me. Like it took me a minute to have my children. And after even grieving that process of, oh, am I going to be able to have kids and then getting pregnant and coping with the fact that I went from not having kids to having twins, being very fearful and scared and wondering, am I going to be able to do this? How am I going to take care of not one, but two kids? You think about having kids, you're like, oh, I'm going to just have one kid. But you don't think about having doubles your first time. And I was extremely, extremely scared because I didn't know if I could live up to the person I needed to be for my children. I think a lot of the times we don't just sit in it. Like that's a valid emotion to have, to be scared and wonder, if you're going to be the best mom for your kids. After sitting in that, I'm like, okay, then they told me, hey, your kids don't look like they're going to come. We're going to have a C-section. That's scary enough, delivering twins, and my twins were in the same placenta, so they were already I was already high risk having twins. But not only that, but they were in the same placenta because my twins are identical. And just being fearful of that, and the black maternal, thing about going to the hospital, and of course it wasn't as prevalent or well known as it is now, but I was extremely scared after having my kids. Um, Grateful that it was a successful delivery. I remember looking at my kids like, oh my God, I'm a mom. And I remember having that flood of emotions and crying and, holding my baby and looking at her and like, oh my God, like I'm a mom. Like not only that, I'm a mom. And my other twin, she swallowed some fluid, so she had to go to the NICU for about a couple of hours. But I remember just looking at both of them and just immediately dealing with struggle. Like I was trying to nurse and that wasn't working out. And they was like, oh, your baby's losing weight and they have to eat. And it was just like I'm dealing with a lot already, bringing these kids. It's only day one. It's only been 24 hours. And we don't talk about like the person you sacrifice to become a mom. And I remember looking back like, and again, I love my kids, but I do miss a lot of the person I was before I had kids. Like I was spontaneous and adventurous and go here, go there. And I'm not saying that I can't do that now because my kids are a lot older, but it's a lot harder when you got, multiple kids or you have even one kid and you're trying to find a babysitter and somebody watch your kids and you got to plan date night or, you might be a single mom and you're having to watch your kids and you want to go to date night and it's a lot more planning when you're a mom because you have kids. A lot of moms won't say it, but let's be honest, like for me, I grieve sometimes the person I was before I had kids. I miss her a lot. And I'm like, wow, will I ever get back to being that person? Um, and I'm still struggling with who that looks like and what I like to do now. And it's still some of those things that I like to do, but just feeling like unprepared. And I don't care how many books you read and all the advice you can get. it's just some things in motherhood you cannot prepare for. It's literally like you're hitting the ground running, and it's nothing you can do but just take it one day at a time. And I don't understand why a lot of moms don't talk about like missing that person they were before you had kids. It's one of those things that you have to sit back and reevaluate what that looks like for each person. Like for me, like I said, I like dancing, and I realized I haven't danced in a while. So I turned on some music and started moving, and it's stuff jiggling. And I was just like, oh, like this doesn't feel good. And my body doesn't feel the same. And I just remember sitting down and feeling defeated because I'm like, not only do my body physically not look the same, but internally, emotionally, I don't feel the same. And I remember just feeling kind of depressed, like, okay, all right, what else, do I like doing? But, I got up and said, you know what? Okay, your body doesn't look the same because you had kids, and that's okay. But we can fix the physical part, right? And okay, what else do you like to do? You like, watching, I love, 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 love the food channel, and just binging on that, and watching that. And I really enjoyed that peaceful time I had just by myself, just watching the food channel. I'm like, okay, well, I like to skate. I, even though probably not a great skater, but I enjoy skating. Like I enjoy going out to different restaurants. I enjoy a bunch of different things. And I wanted to get back to that person I was before I had kids. It's taken me now, what, 6 years later to figure out who that person is. And I'm not saying I completely found her, but I'm just getting used to it. And it's kind of weird having to shift between and taking that selfish moment for myself, right? And I don't think anything is wrong with that, having that moment where you just want to do something for yourself without your kids. Like when I go grocery shopping, I don't want to take my kids. I don't want to take them to the grocery store with me because it's a hassle. I would rather go by myself. And it's nothing wrong with saying no when you don't want to do it, and saying yes when you really are, or even having a drink with your friends, or sitting down watching the TV. I think a lot of the times we just got to take those moments for ourselves and get back to the person we were before we had kids. I'm still finding her, but I'm loving the fact that I'm finding her, and I'm loving who she's becoming, or who I'm becoming, and finding those things that I could really enjoy. I hope you guys are doing the same, moms. And just remember, like, it's okay to take that time and go find the things that you like to do. Be okay with knowing that it's okay to look back and go find that person, and just remember, you haven't lost yourself. You still that baddie, you know? Just taking a moment to appreciate where you are now, but also don't forget who you are as that person and as a mother. And always make time for yourself. Y'all know y'all doing better than y'all think. And I hope to see you guys on the next episode.